Okay, we're recording. So, welcome to today's lesson. It's essentials of emotion. So, using essential oils to support our emotional body. My name is Kara Blattman-Rock. I'm the founder of Doterra in Israel and creating a beautiful Doterra community now in New Mexico and Colorado. And of course, supporting my awesome and amazing Israel team. Last time I didn't wear glasses, so this time I see the reflection in my glasses. Um, so today, this is such an interesting topic for me, and I'm really excited to dive into it, is the emotional body and using essential oils for our emotions. Human beings are not simple when it comes to emotions. We have a large range of emotions in our body, and they come up due to all different reasons: environmental situations, environmental surroundings, your genetics, um, baggage or background or history of how you were raised, and your connection with parents, with mother, with father, and just some of us have done work on really being able to reflect and see why things come up for us and how to deal with that, and others haven't done much work, and we're just like moving through our emotions and letting them come and go as they do. What I love about essential oils is they have been studied. So first of all, you know they have been studied for hundreds to thousands of years for emotional support, more so than how we know how we're using essential oils now. doTERRA has really brought the essential oil world into like, oh, essential oils are not just for emotions, they're for your physical body. And they've done such an amazing job at really teaching people to use essential oils for our physical health and for our physical body. But and so sometimes we lose sight that they were originally came about for our emotions. So a little bit about the histories of essential oils is that historically, um, essential oils have been used for thousands of years. The ancient Greeks, the Romans, all throughout the Middle East, Egyptians, Israelites, our ancestors, Rachel, Rebecca, Leah, um, all our matriarchs all used essential oils for the physical body and the emotional body. India and the Indians all also historically have been using essential oils for religious rituals, religious traditions, and meditation, prayer, and all of that is to affect the feeling body, the emotional body, the quieting of the mind, and and going into more of the mental state of the body with essential oils. Uh, the word aromatherapy came about in the 20th century, even though our ancestors thousands of years ago have been using essential oils for aromatherapy. But it really came about in the 20th century, and not until the 1990s, which is just, we all know the 1990s, we were all around for that, was when the scientific community really started to go and diving into research of essential oils with emotions and how they affect the emotions, because essential oils are chemicals. Emotions are created because of chemicals. So those two responding together, it makes sense that they would work together. So, and it can be researched because it's all chemicals, it's all science. So not until recently, the 1990s, did it start to go to really be researched and understood what an impact essential oils can have on our emotional bodies and our emotional responses and triggering, and why this sense of smell and why the body responds so effectively to aroma and the sense of smell. So let's talk about that. But before, I want to share one of my books that I have been quoting over and over again is Ayurveda and Aromatherapy, and they had a great little piece on the history of essential oils. And I didn't know this. I just learned this from putting this class together. Is up until the early 1900s, essential oils was the strongest medicine available. Like, that's profound. Up until the 1900s, essential oil was the strongest medicine available. And not until this shift, then just right after that, there was this shift because of um, shift into pharmacology and allopathic medicine. And the essential oils kind of took this back seat and was forgotten about. So the modern father of aromatherapy, his name is Dr. Rene Maurice Gattefossé. He's French. He was a French chemist. He worked in his family's perfume laboratory, producing perfumes from natural and synthetic derivatives. And he suffered from a severe burn in the laboratory. And without really thinking about it, he thrust his hand into a container of lavender and was amazed to notice the immediate effect of the decrease in the pain that he was having from that fire and that explosion, and subsequently, subsequent. Oh, I'm going to avoid that word. Actually, he observed rapid healing and no scarring because of putting his hand in the lavender immediately when the burn occurred. He was so impressed with that experience that he went into dedicating his life to researching therapeutic properties of essential oils, and is one of the main contributors to the word aromatherapy that came about. That word was coined and published in 1937, but not until 1990 did the scientific community really start. Hi, Michaela. Not until 1990 did the scientific community start to really see that essential oils have a profound effect on the emotions. And why is that? So we're going to go into that. So the science of aroma. So certain aromas produce certain responses in the body, and we're going to talk about that. And the aroma in the body affects the olfactory system because you're smelling it. It's an aroma, you're smelling it. It affects the olfactory system, and the olfactory system is directly connected to the limbic brain. And the limbic brain is responsible for your memories, your emotions, also taste. So how this actually occurs is there's receptor sites in the nose, and in the olfactory system there's little hair-like extensions. And when you smell, the aroma triggers those hair-like extensions of the olfactory nerves to then trigger the limbic brain. There's also chemicals in the aroma that attach to the receptor sites in the nose. And both of these actions create a reaction in the limbic brain, and the limbic brain is responsible for producing hormones, neurotransmitters, and neuropeptides, and those are released in response to that triggering of the chemical and receptor connection in the nose, and the triggering of those hair-like extensions on the olfactory system. So there's an actual chemical response when you smell oils. And the limbic brain, responsible for your emotions, triggers a response back. So if you're feeling, for example, depressed, let's say, like you just feel blue or down, there's oils that we're going to talk about that help with triggering the body to release a neurochemical that helps to lift the mood. So for example, let's go into that now. So all the chemicals of essential oils can be categorized into different categories. So florals, for example, is a category of essential oils. We know florals to be rose, jasmine, magnolia, Lavender has a floral element to it, but it also also an herb. And florals have the chemical monoterpene. So that's in when you look at the breakdown of the compounds of florals, one of their main factors is it's monoterpene and alcohols. And that triggers the limbic system to release serotonin. And serotonin is a neurotransmitter. And serotonin is known to be calming. It's also a regulator. So it helps if the mood is down, it lifts the mood up. If the mood's up, it brings the mood down. So florals are, some of us might be attracted to florals just naturally. Maybe there's a genetic component that we're just attracted to florals. Some of us might not be into florals at all. They don't like any of the florals. And so that's okay. You can find a way for calming and inducing serotonin release with some other oils. So the second category is I'm just going to group them together. It's trees, herbs, and grasses. Those crazy chemicals in there are called sesquiterpenes. I'm not even gonna, maybe Karen or Michael or somebody can say this word, sesquiterpenes. Yeah, maybe you can say those, esters and oxides. I'll type it and somebody might be able to say what it is. It's SESQUITERPENES. You aromatherapist can probably tell me how to pronounce that word. So this particular chemical compound of the essential oil that's found in trees, herbs, and grasses. So what are trees, herbs, and grasses? Frankincense is a tree. Cypress, broche, rosemary, all these kind of green plant essential oils. This also releases the neurochemical serotonin and dopamine. And both of these types of essential oils promote grounding, soothing, harmonizing to the emotions. It gives a sense of just feeling balanced. So some of the oils that fall into this category are chamomile, lavender, blue tansy. We mentioned cypress, like the blend balance. It's a perfect example of all these types of plants in that one blend. The third category is mints. The main chemical in mints is called ketones, and this whole category is uplifting, energizing, bringing more energy into the body. It's uplifting for the mood, motivating, good for memory, and just keeping you on track with your focus. So that's the mints. Citrus, its main chemical that affects the emotions is terpenes and limonene and beta pinene and monoterpenes. So there's a lot of chemicals in the citrus and their main thing for emotions is uplifting. Citrus, we call it sometimes, it's the natural antidepressant. So all the citrus oils, the citruses are also very, they absorb very quickly into the system. So they leave the body very quickly. So when you're using a citrus for uplifting your mood, you do need to use it more frequently, about every 2 hours. And the last category is spice. Its main compound is phenols and also ethers, and it's very warming. So these spices are, clove, ginger, cinnamon, cassia, rosemary falls into there, eucalyptus falls into there, black pepper. Those are all warming, so they actually can produce a physical response of warming the body, but also warming the body energetically. So it creates feeling of harmonizing the emotions, helping you to feel safe, cozy. Um, Also, spice stimulates the mental body, so that if you feel like you're down or you feel you need to be more, you need more motivation, spice is a good oil for that. And you'll see that in the oils that we're going to start going over, the emotional oils, and you'll see how they combine the spice and the mint a lot of times for motivating or for uplifting. So although all of these categories you can pretty much generalize, like florals is calming, trees and grasses are grounding, mints are uplifting, citrus is up and energizing, citrus is uplifting, spices are warming. You can kind of generalize that to everybody, but everybody is so different. We all have very different backgrounds and chemical makeups. And so if sometimes you have to really understand how to use the oils and blend the oils unique to you and your needs and your background. So, but in general, when you're using essential oils for emotions, you can generalize those categories, but it doesn't always work for everybody. So you have to find that right unique blend for that person, because everybody responds and creates their emotions for different reasons: past experiences, personal preferences, genetic makeup, um, whether they have a chronic illness going on or not. So I'm going to share the screen, and we're going to go over the actual 6 oils of the emotional kit. Let me find share. And you can find this handout at doterra.com. It's really great. Like this, it's called the Emotional Aromatherapy, Managing and Uplifting Your Emotions. It's in your website, doterra.com, or you can just go to doterra.com, and it's scroll down all the way to the bottom, and it's the literature and resources for in the essential oil category, not in the business category, just in the essential oil learning category. And it's great. This whole handout is really good. So if you want to refamiliarize yourself with some of the things I talked about, this first part is it: history, science of aroma. So now the first oil that we're going to talk about is Motivate. And I really like the emotional essential oils in the bottle form. I did get them in the touch form as well, because I was using them a lot in my yoga classes, and it's easier to just share them in the roller form. But I love them in the bottle form because I love them in the diffuser. And then you can really use them. You can't use the touch in the diffuser. So the Motivate is peppermint, clementine, coriander, basil, yuzu, which I was going to look up because I'm not so familiar with yuzu, melissa, rosemary, and vanilla bean. So this is a motivating blend. So look at there's peppermint, which is energizing, orange, which the clementine is uplifting, coriander is more considered like a spice, so it's warming and uplifting, basil also warming and uplifting, melissa is more of an herb, so it's grounding. Rosemary's grounding, and vanilla beans just sweet and yummy. So this oil, when you first smell it, the mint comes up right away. And they combine that citrus and that mint to have this uplifting properties and this energizing properties. They're putting yuzu in there as I don't know what yuzu is. Maybe one of you guys on this could look it up real quick and Google it and tell us what it is. And again, this has the monoterpenes in it and the alcohols, which are motivating, uplifting, grounding. So they're recommending this, like, if you're not feeling inspired, if you're feeling low, if you don't feel like you have your confidence is low, this is a good time to use Motivate as we go into the new year. And maybe you're just like, okay, what's going on? Where am I? What am I doing? Especially because this new year looks so different for all of us. Well, a lot of us, our kids are at home. There's, do we have any goals or aspirations? Because we're just surviving, so motivate's a good thing to smell in the morning and make a small, achievable goal for yourself that you can have success with in this new year, and open yourself up to all the new possibilities because it all looks different from this point. So that's motivate. Cheer is a yummy one. They definitely blend the oranges with the spices. So down here at the bottom, it's wild orange, clove, star anise, lemon myrtle, nutmeg, vanilla, ginger, cinnamon. And look at that. Stravetz. That sounds like a Hebrew Israeli word. Again, maybe somebody could look that up. I didn't have time to look that one up, and they could pop on and let us know what that oil is. But cheer, let's smell it. So it definitely has that orange with the spice. So a lot of spice in it. This one's really spicy. Like, you kind of think cheer, like I wanted to say cheers similar to citrus bliss, but it's not. It has a lot of spice in it. So really good for warming up the body. Great to use in the wintertime when the season changes and you start to feel like a little bit low because maybe the sun didn't come out, or it's raining or cold and you don't feel very cheery. Cheer is a good oil to put in the diffuser during those days because it's very spicy. It has a lot of spice, so it's going to be warming to the body, making you feel safe and energized and clear. But then it has that wild orange, which is just very uplifting for the emotions. So what else does doTERRA have to say about that? This is just a unique oil. Like, we just got star anise by itself, but we don't have lemon myrtle by itself. We don't have nutmeg by itself. We don't have vanilla by itself. So it's a nice oil to bring into your array for your emotions, and put it in the diffuser. It smells so amazing in there, and it really is warms up the environment, uplifts the mood. They talk about even sometimes when you have that can-do attitude or optimistic look, sometimes you may get down. So use cheer to bring you up. So cheer is really, really nice. I love cheer. Passion is the next oil. Ooh, this one's good. So this one's really unique because it combines the flowers with the spice. So this one has fractionated coconut oil in it because it has quite a bit of spice in it. Cardamom, cinnamon, ginger, clove, all those first four oils are really spicy. Then it brings in a woody oil, sandalwood, and then some flowers, jasmine, vanilla, and damiana. I love the essential oil, the aromatherapy kit, because it really brings in some different oils that you're not so familiar with. Like, I'm going to do some homework after this and research damiana and zuzu, and then on the other screen it was zadravets. Maybe it's Russian. Passion. So passion is a spicy. So spicy again is warming. Think about warming when it's connected to passion and intimacy and those feelings of wanting to connect with your partner, or even just passion in your friendship, and passion for the relationships in your life. So this is those spicy phenols and esters that are warming and uplifting and harmonizing to the body, but then it has those florals, which are harmonizing and calming, which is interesting that it has a little bit of some calming effects along with that passion. So passion is a great oil to use when you're feeling low and not inspired, and that you just feel like you want to have more zest in your life, more inspiration in your life. and also it's good for raising the libido. So it's connecting, it's creating some neurochemical responses in the limbic brain that also produce some hormone releases to help with bringing up the libido and increasing your passion and inspiration in your relationships. So I love passion. It's a beautiful, beautiful blend. So forgive. So forgive is not an oil that I use so much. It's interesting. It's very like a very clean kind of cleansing smelling oil. Spruce, juniper berry, myrrh, arbovita, nootka tree, thyme, citronella, and then bergamot. So it has one or two citruses in there, and then it's mostly trees: spruce, juniper berry, myrrh, arbovita. So this is it's a very grounding oil, very cleansing oil. We talked about the tree and herbs, how they have a lot of chemicals in there for grounding and a sense of renewal. So this oil they recommend for people that are holding on to feelings of anger, guilt, holding on to negativity, or holding onto a grudge, or if someone's wronged you, you just keep thinking about it or can't move past it. So forgive's a good one to put in the diffuser or smell, one drop in your hand and smell it in the morning if you just feel like you just have this darkness or this negativity in you that you just can't get rid of. So this is a good oil to help you release those emotions. And it would be something that you'd want to be smelling a couple times a day. When I was reading literature about emotions, it was really talking about how the essential oils, they were talking about smelling them mostly to affect the emotional body, and it'll go into the nervous system and the circulatory system, and then it's pretty much excreted from the body within 2 hours. All essential oils. There's a few that will stay a little bit longer because they're attracted to the fatty layers in the body, but most oils are excreted out of the body through sweat, urine, which is your kidneys, and sweat and urine mostly within 2 hours. So if you're really working on using an essential oil to affect your emotional body, you would want to smell it again or have it in the diffuser every 2 hours. So the next one is Console, and this is a really nice one. In my yoga classes, all the students loved this one the most, and oh, it is really good. That's a good one. Frankincense, patchouli, ylang-ylang, labdanum, amyris, sandalwood, rose, osmanthus. So it has a lot of tree oils in it: frankincense, sandalwood, osmanthus is a flower, I believe. Rose is a flower. Amyris, I'm not sure. I think amyris is a flower. Ylang-ylang is a flower. Patchouli is herb. Wow. So frankincense was produced for its particular ability to ground the body, calm the body, and help with releasing feelings of hopelessness or grief or sorrow, sadness. So those flowers are calming and harmonizing. The flowers again are harmonizing. So if you feel sadness and depression, Console is not going to make you go even lower because it's calming, it's harmonizing. So it's going to bring you into this balanced state. And then frankincense and sandalwood are very grounding. Those are thick oils. They stay around for a long time. But this would still be an oil that you could smell every 2 hours or put in the diffuser if you are having significant sadness or grief or feeling down. And it's a great oil. I like to do it at the end of a yoga class to help people just ground down and feel nurtured and taken care of. So let's see what else Doterra has to say. It's great for people that are grieving the loss of a loved one or coping with a severe pain, in addition to oils that help with pain, but it's good for the emotional side of pain. Console is really beautiful. And then I think this, yep, this is the last one. So peace. Peace, wow, peace is a very strong oil. It's made with some really strong smelling oils, vetiver, um, clary sage, marjoram, spearmint. I don't smell spearmint in peace when I smell it though. So peace is a great oil for anxiety. It has some really grounding oils like vetiver, frankincense, labdanum, and clary sage, and marjoram. They're all these kind of there are trees and bushes in nature, and the vetiver stays around with you for a really long time. I like to combine peace and cheer together. I think they smell amazing. So it helps with keeping me grounded because I have a tendency to just I can be all over the place. So it helps me to be grounded. And then the cheer with the spiciness keeps me warm and harmonized and uplifted. I love that combination. And so peace also I've used for my some of my for my son. He has a little bit of ADD, not too involved, and but he just kind of has a pessimistic look sometimes on life. So I use the peace with him, uh, and it really helps him to just I I don't know if he's directly noticing it, but I notice that he just then doesn't always have these what if disaster stories when we use peace. And then I've also recommended it to families that are looking for an oil for their children that might have attention deficit disorder or some kind of focus issues, and they're not connecting with the in tune that doTERRA makes. Peace is another good solution for helping kids focus in it, and especially boys. It's a little more manly smelling, if you will. So, and boys connect to the smell a little bit more. So that's peace. So how do you choose what blend is good for you? So when you get this kit, but you can also just download this chart. It's really there's videos, hour-long videos about this chart and different psychologists that are using this system. And when you look at this chart and see what in the purple is the different emotions and feelings. And if you're connecting to any of those in your life and they're showing up, then it's saying what plant or what category is going to best work for that. So let's look at fearful, worried, um, like for I think a lot of us with our kids home and then the holidays coming up and we're trying to work, there might be some anxiousness or worriedness. Like anxious is in mints, but worried is in florals. So that's when you could mix them. So mint could be your peace and mix it with your console, or it could be your motivate and mix with your console or your peace. So you would look at what, if it's personally for you or for someone else, bring out this chart and see what are the emotions that they're feeling that they would really like to start balancing out. Lately, I've been having people talk about anxiety and what oils to use for anxiety. It's recommending peace, but also motivate. So what would those two smell like together? So, wow, those are good. That's good together. Peace and motivate. That would be awesome in the diffuser. But let's talk about some, so those are the 6 oils in the emotional aromatherapy kit. I think this is a beautiful kit. They used to offer it as in Europe as a um, an enrollment kit with a diffuser. I think that's recently changed. Can anybody tell me if that's right? Is it no longer an enrollment kit in Europe? Yael, do you know? Or Michaela? I'm gonna unmute you.
An enrollment kit. No,
It's not
unfortunately,
anymore. Yeah, I know.
no. And
Okay,
they're also it doesn't come with a diffuser anymore.
okay. All right, I'm gonna ask about that because it was such a great enrollment kit. And see why they changed that and if they could bring that back on. So then the last page is just talking about the touches. Why would you get the touch over the drop bottles? Well, then they're all combined with fractionated coconut oil. It's a good line for the kids. If you wanted your kids to be using the emotional oil kit, then this would be a safe way for them to apply it and not get an overdose of any of the oils. Like the Peace, for example, is really strong, so it's nice to have it in the touch form because that calms it down a little bit, and then your kids don't get such a high dose of it. But if you have the bottles, just use fractionated coconut oil. Add a little more fractionated coconut oil or some kind of carrier oil when you're applying it. And again, my favorite way to use them is in the diffuser. Um, so but there are so many oils that you can use for your emotional body because there's lots of florals, grasses, trees, mints, citruses. It's not just the blends. So you might start to realize that you resonate with just some of the single oils, and rose is the oil that makes you feel uplifted and sane, or um, just wild orange by itself, or bergamot, or you may resonate with the grasses and the trees. Like I love marjoram. It's more of like a sage smelling. But I can't go over all of them today, and we're going to be ending soon. But two oils that I do want to talk about is air. It's still called breathe in the United States, but in Europe it's called air, and adaptive. So adaptive is specifically made for the emotional body. And I've had a lot of people asking me about anxiety. What do I recommend if you have anxiety? And so I've had many people tell me that they're taking the adaptive pills on a regular basis. They're not available in Europe. You have to order them from the US and then get them to Europe or Israel. But the oil is, so the oil, it can be taken internally. You can do 1 to 2 drops in a veggie cap and take it once or twice a day. I'd pay attention, like start with once a day, see how that feels if you are experiencing anxiety. And then if you feel like you need more than once a day, then you can go to twice a day. I love I recommend using the adaptive. I love this form. They also have it in the roller form. I like this because I like it in the diffuser, but then I'll add it to fractionated coconut oil, and put it on the back of my neck and across my chest after I've taken a shower or not. It's part of my regular routine. I use it as my anti-anxiety perfume, and I use it daily. And the other oil that can work really well for anxiety is breathe. Um, and this can be for like an actual panic attack. Um, you can take a drop of breathe in your hand and smell it like an inhaler, rubbing the hands together and just holding the hands over the nose and making sure you open to breathe out, and then breathe in deeply and stay there for 2 to 3 minutes. And that can help during times of anxiety or an actual panic attack, because you're breathing, you're opening up the airways, and also just stopping and quieting down and just paying attention to your breath. So one of my recommendations for people that are working with anxiety and dealing with that is, um, taking the adaptive pills internally during the day or using the drops in a veggie cap during the day. At night, taking the serenity pills and and you can put serenity in your diffuser. And then throughout the day, smelling the breathe. And that could be a good routine to really work if you have some significant anxiety going on. Depression is another story. Um, Adaptive would work for that too because it's a harmonizer, but balance is good for putting it on the bottom of your feet. And then I would recommend the blend cheer, um, and possibly combining it with the forgive and putting those two together in a diffuser or a perfume on your body. I'm gonna stop the recording and open it up for questions. Thank you guys for being on. The emotional body and the oil and oils that help the emotions is really unique to yourself. So play around with it. Get experiences for yourself. Maybe you have significant issues that you're working on and talk to your mentor or the person that's helping you to really get some guidance on what oils they would recommend for you to start using and experiencing so you can really get a handle on your emotional body and feel good and thrive because our emotions really are determining our quality of life and have an effect on our physical health. So it's important to pay attention to them and use the tools at your fingertips to keep them in balance. And it's not always going to be perfect. You're going to be triggered. You're going to have responses that you maybe don't like, but use oils to help you work with that and start to bring it into more harmony so that because I just think that essential oils are one of the best tools for our emotional body and keeping it in balance and keeping us thriving. So thanks for being on. Let me know if you have any questions.